In this video, I'm going to help you to be able to hit a good heavy forehand when you're dealing with an opponent that's hitting the ball deep, because there is a very specific footwork pattern and adjustment to your technique that you need to use in order to be able to get a decent amount of spin and still maintain a little bit of pace when the ball is coming at you with a little bit on it and it's deep. So we're going to be going through that footwork pattern and technical adjustment because it's something that most players don't use, and it basically prevents them from being able to hit this shot. So when we're trying to hit a heavy forehand ourselves, in an ideal world, we're going to be setting up in the right position. We're going to be loading through our outside hip, using optimal biomechanics, using good timing to meet the ball out in front, and that's going to allow us to hit with both power and spin. But as you know, in tennis, it's not always an ideal situation. When you're playing against a better opponent that hits with good depth and pace to you, you can't always arrive in position to be able to meet the ball beautifully out in front. Sometimes the ball is just going to be a little bit too far back, and when the ball is too far back relative to where we are when we initiate our swing, we can't use some of the traditional footwork patterns. So we definitely don't have time to step in and hit through a neutral stance. You might not even have time to use something like a mogul step or a two-legged pivot, and that's where the reverse single leg pivot comes in. So for the reverse single leg pivot, we're going to be pivoting on the right leg, but the left leg kicks up as a counterbalance. So you're loading off the right leg, but as you go into the swing, the left leg kicks up to allow our hips and our pelvis to come around and to change the shape of the swing, because we're going to be leaning back a little bit to adjust the swing path, because relative to the ball that's coming towards us, we're now not meeting out there, we're now meeting the ball a little bit further back, and we use this adjustment to make it happen. Now, when you're using this swing or this adjustment, sometimes you'll be able to finish with your follow through going over the shoulder. But again, if the ball is a little bit too far back, the swing path that you create by the initiation of the movement won't send the racket there. So if the ball is even further back, that's when you're going to be seeing the buggy whip style finish. The thought process isn't, I need to do a buggy whip finish on this shot. It's a case of recognizing where the ball is relative to when you initiate your swing, and because the ball is so far back, you adjust the start of the swing, and that is what leads to the buggy whip style finish. But in either case, the process is developing the feeling of doing this reverse single leg pivot, and because it's weird, you want to practice it without the ball first. So just get used to setting up in position and what does it feel like to make that movement happen. You know, at first you might be kind of just doing it with the hips and looking in a funny direction, but then eventually you want to transition into being able to do it leaving your head looking down at the contact point. But it's just a case of familiarizing yourself with the movement and the technique, and once you've done enough repetitions without the ball there and you've got an understanding of how it feels, then you should start to be able to incorporate it within your practice. And you'll find that once you've got this down and it's just part of your repertoire, it's really going to allow you to deal with opponents that are hitting a much higher quality of shot. Now that you've got a bit of an understanding about how to use the reverse single leg pivot and how to start to train and incorporate it, we need to talk about a major limitation that might prevent you fully utilizing it within a game and kind of point situation, because it's all about choosing the appropriate footwork pattern and swing adjustment relative to the ball that you're dealing with. And obviously the hard part is every single shot that you deal with is different. You need to have an ability to accurately predict how far the ball is away, how fast the ball is traveling, so that you can use the appropriate adjustment. If the ball's further away, we won't be using this. We'll be doing more of a conventional stroke. It's only when the ball is a little bit further back that we're going to be using the reverse single leg pivot. And the reality is, most tennis players' visual systems are the thing that prevent them from playing a better quality of tennis. And this is a relative thing. If you want to play 3.5 level tennis, there are certain visual requirements. If you want to play 5.0 level tennis, your visual system has to be functioning at a much, much higher level. So it's a case of, you know, improving your visual function up to a level, to the level that you want to play tennis at. And that's really one of the big things that I help tennis players with. And if you'd like to learn more about improving your visual function, I've created a masterclass that's going to go into it in a lot more detail. I'll place a link up there, and I'll place a link down in the description so that you can check it out. Just click on the link, it'll take you over to a page, enter your details there, and you can watch this masterclass. Okay, I hope you have found this video helpful and enjoyable. Like I said, the process is to start to get a feeling for how this works without the ball first. Get a certain number of repetitions so that your body understands the movement and it becomes more of an automatic habit. Then start to try and implement it within your gameplay. Any questions about this kind of footwork pattern? Leave your comments down below, and I'll catch you next time.